Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Tuesday. It is the 12th day of October 2021. I hope you're healthy and COVID free today. I hope your family is also healthy and COVID free. And I hope that the needs of your family in terms of food and shelter and clothing as well as health are being met. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field who try their best every day to save life. Blessings upon those that pick up garbage for us to keep our places clean. And those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on those trying to deliver boys and girls, men and women, children, babies, toddlers, teenagers from human trafficking, sex slave operations, pornography, pedophilia, child molestation, as well as, what did I miss? Anyway, those things, and curses upon those that support and practice these industries that destroy and degrade human beings. Finally, blessings upon the homeless, 600,000 plus in the United States, men, women, children, families, veterans, no place to live, living on the streets, oftentimes not knowing where their next meal is coming from. Blessings upon them. Blessings upon the millions like them around the world, in places like the Philippines, like Haiti, like India, like Afghanistan. And blessings on those trying to help, for theirs is the kingdom. So yesterday, I know that the Knicks are getting ready to play the Detroit Pistons. They're going to play Detroit tomorrow night in Madison Square Garden. And so yesterday, the Pistons were playing against the Memphis Grizzlies. And so I decided, I was doing some work on my computer for my job, and I decided, at breaks, I was going to look at that game. And I like to do that. Usually I do it during the course of the regular season, but I'm so hyped for the Knicks this year that I'm actually doing it a little bit in preseason. I like to scout the teams a little bit that the Knicks are playing to see, what the what we're looking for, what they're running, what their defense is, what their offense is, who the players are, and all of that. So I looked to scout the team yesterday, and it didn't take long for me to see it. Cade Cunningham was out, and man, Detroit's going to have a long season this year. Cade was out, and they really had just put it mildly, they had an off night, let's say, against Memphis. They just looked totally outclassed. It almost looked like a college team playing an NBA team. It was that bad. I don't want to sleep on any team, the Knicks, but Detroit's going to have a rough year this year. And the thing is that they have talent. It's young talent. Killian Hayes, again, we mentioned Cade, Sadiq Bey, Isaiah Stewart. They got some nice young talent. Luka Garza is a decent 5-man, and he can develop into something. But last night against Memphis, it was like men playing boys. It really was. And so I didn't watch that game for very long. So while I was looking at the game, I noticed that Miami was playing Charlotte. Now, as a point, there's a Knicks point in all this, believe me, so just follow me. I wanted to see Charlotte because along with Indiana, I picked those two teams as surprise teams in the East. Now, Indiana may not make it. It depends on the health. I expected TJ Warren as well as Karis LeVert to be fully healthy and ready to play. Without them, it's going to be a harder road to hoe for the Indiana Pacers. We paid the Pacers, and they were just about at full strength without those two guys. And you can see it's going to be pretty difficult for them, without those two players. Those two players make all the difference in the world. So that's, I'm going to give a disclaimer with that. But Charlotte was the other team that I expect to surprise. I expect Charlotte to be really battling for the top 6 in the East. And so I wanted to see them against Miami. Now, when I'm watching the game, I noticed Jimmy Butler did not play for Miami. That's a big part of what they do. Jimmy Butler didn't play for Miami. I also noticed, of course, that Charlotte also was missing Scary Terry as well as Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward and Scary Terry are also big parts of what Charlotte does. So both teams were missing a couple of key players. But other than that, they all had their regular contingent of players, playing for them, last night. And I want to tell you, first of all, let me just say this. Bam Adebayo is an amazing player. at the 5 spot. The things he does at the 5, he plays like a guard. At the same time, he defends like a 5, an elite 5, an all NBA defender 5. He runs the floor like a gazelle. Okay. He's a tremendous, tremendous player. I appreciate great basketball when I see it. And man, that guy is something else. So that's aside the point. But I want to tell you something. It appears Charlotte was the better team to me. And that's saying something. Okay. Because Miami was playing Miami basketball. Tight defense, rebounding, crisp passing, 3-point shooting, the whole thing. But Charlotte, without Scary Terry, without Gordon Hayward, Borrego had them playing tight defense, ball movement. And I want to tell you something before this past draft, when LaMelo Ball was drafted, I had said at the time, he's either boom or bust. And I still believe that, boom or bust. And that was the risk in picking him. This dude is boom, bada boom, boom, man. I mean, shoot. They couldn't guard him. He didn't get a triple-double. And this is the thing, Miami won the game by 1 point, but that doesn't tell you the game. You have to have seen the game because all the starters were pulled after the third quarter. They only played 3 quarters. And at 3 quarters, starting the fourth quarter, in fact, with 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, Miami was down 12 or something like that, 14. And then Miami came back with their reserves, the guys trying to make the team, and they won the game by 1 point at the end. But Charlotte, to me, appeared to be the better team. Now, why is that important? I noticed that Miami intelligently did not have Kyle Lowry trying to guard LaMelo Ball. They put Kyle Lowry on somebody else. And they had Duncan Robinson trying to guard LaMelo Ball. They had different players. Usually they were putting height on him. That's what they were trying to do. And it made me think of Kemba. And I'm like, dang, okay. So I'm not going to trip too much about last Saturday night's performance by Kemba. It was not nice. It was not a good performance by him, period. Okay. Definitely not an all-star performance. But I'm also remembering this is preseason. And this is Kemba and Evan Fournier's, first time playing in real games with our Knicks. So it's going to take a little time for them to gel. So I want to keep that as a caveat. It's going to take them a little time to gel. So I don't want to judge it, too quickly. But the thought did come through my mind. Suppose Kemba falters. Suppose either he gets hurt or his defense is so bad, you can't play him, at the starting point guard position. And I imagine what would Tibbs do against Miami? What would he do? How would he start this? And I thought we would probably use the Atlanta strategy against us last year. You see, because Duncan Robinson is a spot-up shooter, much better than Reggie Bullock. Okay, Duncan Robinson can shoot the rock flat out. Okay, and he can shoot it as a stand-up spot-up shooter, and he can shoot it coming off a pick, catch and shoot. Tremendous shooter. He runs without the basketball as well, but what he doesn't do is he does not go off the dribble. Okay, so he runs without the ball very well. He moves. And of course, he's a better shooter than Bullock. But because he's not a threat to get off the dribble against you, you could probably put Kemba on him. Okay. And then have somebody else guard LaMelo Ball that can stay in front of him because, man. And then the growth in, we were all, I wanted the Knicks to pick Miles Bridges the year they picked Kevin, but that's water under the bridge right now. But Miles Bridges has developed into a really good basketball player, last night. And PJ Washington fouled out in the third quarter. Like, he fouled out he played 20 minutes and fouled out last night. I don't know what was going on, but even without him, they were deep enough, to play ball with Miami. And really, like I said, I thought they were the better team. So if Kemba falters, I'm not that concerned because yesterday, if you listen to Tom Thibodeau's post-practice presser yesterday was the 11th. At the 11th, they interviewed Tom at the end of practice. And he said something very interesting. They were asking him about, I don't know how it got on the point guards, right? And he was basically saying that Grimes and McBride, are going to be really good players. And, he's really high on them. And we know he had a hand in picking them. And, he's very happy with them. And then he said, there may be some decisions to make. He said, do we play Grimes more at the point, or do we play IQ? He said, I'm not sure. That's a decision we have to make. For him to even mention Grimes, I'm back. Do we play Deuce at the point guard, or do we play more IQ? That's what he said. Do we play Deuce at the point guard, or do we play more IQ at the point guard? And for him to even say that shows you what we already thought, that Deuce was going to come into the practice kicking butt. And he basically said it. He said, those two are pushing us in practice. That's what he said. I can see Deuce getting some minutes. If Kemba falters, either because of injury or because of lack of defense, I can see Deuce getting some minutes. And I'm telling you, if you put Deuce McBride, he will lock up. He will lock the heck up LaMelo Ball. Okay? I'm trying to tell you. And so that's why I'm saying when watching that game, I said, okay, if Kemba can't guard LaMelo, they'd have to put Kemba on somebody like Duncan, right? Or Tyler Hero. But they can't put him, I'm sorry, they can't, have to put, I'm sorry, I'm confusing things. If we were playing Charlotte, they'd have to put Kemba on somebody else aside LaMelo. They'd have to put him on, they can't put him on Scary Terry either, because Scary Terry is a 3-level scorer. I confused things a little bit, I'm sorry. So, yeah, I don't know who they would, that's what I was worried about. I was like, who would he guard? Who could he guard on Charlotte? He can't guard P.J. Washington. He can't guard Miles Bridges. You can't put him on the 5 guy, Plumlee. He didn't even play last night. The Kai Jones guy was pretty good. And they had this other guy that they really picked like in the second round from Kentucky. He looked pretty good at the 5 spot. But who is he going to guard? I don't know. Against Charlotte. Against Miami, you could probably put him on Lowry, and you could probably put him on Duncan Robinson, like I said. But against Charlotte, I don't know who he's going to guard. And so I know the Knicks are going to play team defense. That's what Tom is stressing, a team-oriented defense, a gang-type defense, and good. But I just want to let y'all know, be assured that if Kemba does falter, either because of injury or because of lack of being able to guard anybody, because sometimes, I'm not saying Kemba's been a terrible defender, but his knees are what they are. So if they don't allow him the mobility to play the defense that needs to be played, you're going to see more D-Rose, you're going to see more IQ, and you're going to see Deuce McBride. And I'm telling you, even though McBride's a rookie, and I know Tibbs doesn't start rookies as a point guard, he don't start rookies, period. But he's going to give minutes. But don't be surprised if Deuce ends up, by the 3/4 point of the season, playing a lot more minutes. Because I was watching Charlotte last night. I'm telling you, they're going to be a top 6 team in the East. They're just that good. I know everybody's looking at Chicago. With Gordon Hayward especially, they didn't have Gordon Hayward or Scary Terry. And they look better than Miami. Now again, Miami did not have Jimmy Butler, which is a big loss, but I think that's kind of evened out. They're going to be good, man. Those guys are going to be really good. So, I'm looking at what the Knicks would do against them. So I'm not as concerned with Miami. I'm not. Miami's a good team, but we match up well against Miami. We really do. We match up well against Miami. Charlotte, though, that's a different thing, man. That's a different thing, man. And you're talking about the East, right? So every night you're dealing with a point guard, okay? You're dealing with somebody you're dealing with somebody that's going to give you fits, okay? So you're looking at, so now Boston has, Boston just got, what's the kid's name Boston just got there? Dennis Schroeder. Boston got Dennis Schroeder. Shifty cat. We know that Kyrie's going to play for the Nets. We know now Simmons is probably going to be back with Philly. We know that Toronto's got Fred VanVleet, right? Chicago's got Lonzo. Cleveland's got 2 point guards, dynamic point guards in their backcourt. And of course, Detroit's got Cade Cunningham. Indiana's got Brogdon. There's Jrue Holiday for the Bucks. Of course, you got Trae Young, you got LaMelo Ball, you're dealing with Kyle Lowry, you're dealing with Markelle Fultz, you're dealing with Dinwiddie and Beal. So every night you're dealing with somebody tough, man. Now, we just saw Washington. Kemba did not look good against Washington, but Washington, I'm not worried about them because we overmatched them. But a team like Charlotte, they're going to surprise some people. And I was wondering, what would the Knicks do against Charlotte? Now, about Kemba. Kemba is one of those players that you just don't sleep on. and don't bet against. You know why? Because his whole life, he's been 5'10", 6 feet, right? And his whole life, people have been betting against him. And every time they do, he makes them pay. Okay? So I wouldn't bet against Kemba. When UConn won the NCAA title that year, there was no way anybody thought they were going to do that. When they came into the Big East tournament, they were not like the highly favored team. But under the lights of Madison Square Garden, in the big spot, Kemba, at 6 foot, 160 pounds or whatever, you look at his measurements, you say, oh man, he can't. He turned it out. Okay? He has been all-star. He has been all-NBA. So I would not sleep on Kemba and count him out. He didn't look good Saturday night, but like I said, this is still preseason. And, he needs time to gel with his new teammates. That's just, and, also I did notice in both the Indiana game and the Wizard game, but especially the Indiana game, he was so happy to be playing as a regular player at Madison Square Garden. It was kind of like he was fumbling a bit. He was too nervous, not nervous, but just too excited. And he was just fumbling himself a little bit. So I want, you let him get acclimated in terms of letting it settle in that he's a New York Knicks. He's the starting point guard in New York Knicks. And then let him get settled with the 5-man, that he's playing with the 4 other guys he's playing with. And I think they're going to be fine, and so I don't want to sleep on Kemba. But I just want y'all to know, if he falters, we're not going to miss a beat. We really are not. We're not going to miss a beat. Not at all. Because I was looking at Charlotte. Now, you put Deuce McBride. Look this way. If you put IQ in the game at the point guard spot, we could be Charlotte. Okay, IQ is getting good at the point guard. He could already shoot. He's got the IQ, no pun intended, but And so I'm not worried. And then of course we know, you give D Rose, I want to keep D Rose at that 20-minute spot because he's going to be dynamic at 20 minutes a game. You're going to see him get 16, 18 points. He's going to be dynamic at 20 minutes a game. And he's going to be ready for the playoffs. But if Kemba's knee falters, or if he can't guard somebody because of his knee, we're in good shape. We really are. And that's what I guess I'm saying. Because I was concerned at first. Across my mind, I said, dang, who's Kemba going to guard on Charlotte? He can't guard LaMelo. He can't guard Scary Terry. You're not going to put him on Gordon Hayward. Who's he going to guard? He can't guard anybody. You're going to need help, So, and then, of course, we know Fournier is not the greatest defender. He's not bad, but he's not the greatest defender. So you're going to see, and, you're going to see more of these guys coming off the bench that can guard. I hate, Quentin Grimes, he's really got a hard road to hoe, but Quentin Grimes can defend. Okay, that's why he's on the team. He can defend, and of course, we saw he got a sweet jump shot. So him and Deuce are the future. They're the future, and the future is like 2 years at the most. That's the future. 2 years at the most. That's them two guys' time. But we got them though, So if we need them, and that's why the depth of the New York Knicks is so important. Against situation like this, when you're talking about a Charlotte, I'm telling you, already, we all know Brooklyn's going to be near the top. We already know Milwaukee, we know Philly, especially Ben Simmons. I heard he's coming back now. So, those teams are going to be near the top of the East. But and of course, we know Atlanta's pretty much bringing back their same team and they're all better now. So, but don't sleep on Charlotte. They're going to be good. And then there's us. We here, we deep, so it is what it is. But I just wanted to bring up, what if Kemba falters? We still here. We still deep, even if Kemba falters. Okay. It's going to be like that. It's going to be like that. Now, in terms of a championship, in terms of Eastern Conference Finals, I don't want to predict yay or nay. I just tell you, like, a healthy Mitchell Robinson brings us top 3 in the East. I know that. But in the playoffs, y'all, the cream rises to the top. Okay? The cream rises to the top in the playoffs. It's the most pressurized situation in any basketball environment in the world in the NBA playoffs. And the cream rises to the top at that time. Now, last year, Julius didn't have a good playoffs. We saw that. We're expecting him to develop and have a better playoffs this year. Okay? How far the Knicks go is going to be dependent on who rises to the top. What cream rises to the top at the playoff under the lights. Okay, so we're gonna see what happens. And anything is possible. I want to tell you this: there's when you get to the playoffs, anything is possible. The Knicks are the only 8th seed in history to reach the finals. They did that. Okay, so anything is possible. But right now, I'm on the focus on, and I'm sure development. Keep getting better. That's what I'm saying. Just keep getting better. Let the 5 guys gel. Let the new kids continue to develop. Let Kev continue to develop. Let Obi get Miz, as we talked about yesterday, continue to develop. And let's see where we at in April. Like I said, and then Mitchell Robinson is now getting contact. He's playing with contact. He's not playing 5-on-5 yet, but he's playing with contact. He's running. He's participating the full length of the practice. It's possible that Tom didn't even rule out him not playing in the preseason. So I would say like this. I want to pretty much guarantee y'all that within 10 games unless he has a setback, that's a different thing. If he doesn't have a setback, he'll be back starting, probably by game 10 of the season, So yeah, that's very good news. That's very good news. So we play Boston, Orlando, Philly, or Chicago, New Orleans, Toronto, Indiana. I'm thinking November 7th against Cleveland. I think that's the game you will see Mitchell Robinson starting at center, if not before that. I think by November 7th against Cleveland, unless he has a setback, and hopefully he doesn't. But that's very good news. A healthy Mitchell Robinson, y'all. That's the key right there. So this is going to be something else. But I just want y'all to know, if Kemba falters, we got deuces. And I mean, pun intended, we got deuces. We got behind him. We ready. Okay. Because he may. But we're going to see. I don't want to count him out. Like I said, don't bet against Kemba Walker. People have done it in the past and it never works out well for them because Kemba will beat the odds. He does. So, if he does with us, we're going to be tough, man. We're going to be really tough. So, and just like he can't guard LaMelo can't guard him either. That's, let's let that be known. Whereas Kyle Lowry's a two-way player. Kyle Lowry plays both ends of the floor, but LaMelo Ball offensively, he makes them a different team, man. And even just an average defender with his length at 6'8", man. So watch for Charlotte, but we here and we deep. Have a good one, Tuesday. Shalom.